Hey, what's up, you guys?
Let's hear it.
WD3, we're going to get into some Venezuela.
Nope, not today. Not today. Not today. I sat there and told y'all play too motherfucking much on this damn app. I'm sick of this shit. Y'all not taking me to hell with y'all. Hell no.
Anyway, let's learn more about what's going on in Venezuela, and we'll be right back to talk about it.
The numbers tell the story. In 2016, before sanctions, Venezuela was producing 2.4 million barrels per day. By 2020, production had fallen to 500,000 barrels per day, an 80% collapse. Oil revenue fell from $56 billion per year to $11 billion per year. The economy imploded. Hyperinflation hit 1.7 million percent at its peak. People were starving. The country was in crisis. The U.S. government said this was about democracy and human rights. But let me show you the comparison that proves this was about the petrodollar. Iran, heavily sanctioned for decades, currently under massive sanctions. Why? Because Iran sells oil in non-dollar currencies and challenges U.S. dominance. Iran's human rights record is worse than Venezuela's. But the primary issue is not human rights. It is oil and the dollar. Russia. Sanctions intensified after 2022. Why? Because Russia began demanding payment for oil and gas in rubles, not dollars. The U.S. said it was about Ukraine, but look at the financial warfare. They froze $300 billion in Russian reserves. They cut Russia out of SWIFT. They targeted Russian oil exports. This is dollar enforcement. Saudi Arabia. Terrible human rights record. Killed a journalist, bombs Yemen. No sanctions. Why? Because Saudi Arabia sells oil exclusively in dollars and recycles those dollars into U.S. Treasury bonds. Saudi Arabia is inside the petrodollar system. Therefore, Saudi Arabia is an ally, no matter what they do. The pattern is clear. If you sell oil in dollars, you are protected. If you sell oil in anything other than dollars, you are sanctioned, isolated, and regime changed. This is not about human rights. This is about maintaining the petrodollar. And Venezuela understood this, so they made a choice. If the U.S. is going to sanction us and try to destroy our economy anyway, we might as well completely abandon the dollar and build an alternative system. Here's what Venezuela did between 2017 and 2025. They sold oil to China in yuan. China became Venezuela's largest customer, buying approximately 500,000 barrels per day by 2024. All transactions in yuan, $0. That is $13.7 billion per year in non-dollar oil sales. They sold oil to India in rupees. India needed cheap oil and was willing to ignore U.S. sanctions. India bought 200,000 barrels per day, paid in rupees. That is $5.5 billion per year in non-dollar sales. They sold oil to Russia in a barter system. Venezuela shipped oil to Russia. Russia shipped wheat, machinery, and military equipment to Venezuela. No currency involved, direct barter. This circumvented sanctions entirely. They created bilateral payment systems with Iran, Cuba, and Nicaragua. These countries all faced U.S.A. sanctions. They built clearing mechanisms to trade with each other without using dollars. Venezuela traded oil for Iranian gasoline and chemicals. The value was approximately $2 billion per year. They launched the Petro, a cryptocurrency supposedly backed by Venezuelan oil reserves. The Petro was an attempt to create a digital currency that could be used for international trade without touching the dollar system. It failed to gain significant adoption, but it showed the direction Venezuela was moving. They negotiated debt repayments to China in oil, not dollars. Venezuela owed China approximately $20 billion from infrastructure loans made during the Chavez era. Instead of repaying in dollars, Venezuela repaid in oil shipments. This was oil for debt, not oil for dollars. Add it all up. By 2025, Venezuela was selling approximately 900,000 barrels per day in non-dollar currencies and barter arrangements. At $75 per barrel, that is $24.7 billion in annual oil sales that were not using the U.S. dollar. For a country with the world's largest oil reserves, this was unacceptable to the United States. But Venezuela was not alone. They were part of a broader trend. Russia was selling 5 million barrels per day in non-dollar currencies. Iran was selling 1.5 million barrels per day in yuan and euros. Saudi Arabia was negotiating with China to accept yuan for portions of oil sales. The petrodollar was not just losing Venezuela. It was losing its grip on the entire global oil market. By late 2025, an estimated 15% of global oil trade was occurring in non-dollar currencies. That is approximately $410 billion per year out of $2.74 trillion in total global oil sales. The trend was accelerating. Projections suggested this could reach 25 to 30% by 2027. And then, on December 28, 2025, China and Venezuela announced a new agreement. $80 billion over 5 years. China would rebuild Venezuela's oil infrastructure. In exchange, Venezuela would supply 1.2 million barrels per day to China.
Wow.
All transactions in yuan.
Trump trying to bully the Russian president, and it ain't an army in the world that can bully a guy as strong as him. A nigga that work his way from the bottom to the top, he a different kind of beast. Starting with hand-to-hand fighting and combat and training. So Putin was a KGB, a member of the KGB. He started at the lowest level. Even when Mikhail Gorbachev, homie, so he done worked his way, and homie, he work out, nigga, and he's a brute of a man. We ain't got now politician like that. So you think somebody finna dictate to him, and he done kill people, he done slaughter people, he with the the White House people ain't, they just, homie, they the white boy that got the police. I'm gonna get my army. Okay. Your army ain't as bad as you think it is. Got a bunch of gays in your military. Fat had to lower the standards for these motherfuckers even pass the physical test. And they don't know hand-to-hand combat. So now, homie, America ain't as bad as they think they is. Yeah, we'll go blow up a country, but they got some to blow us up.
Wow.
What make us weaker is, in those other countries, they don't have a bunch of Americans.
Yeah.
Everybody here.
Yeah.
Every enemy known to America is here. And we welcome them here. China have bought up large portions of American land, homie, to position themselves next to government buildings and infrastructure that they boom. And we ain't got no bombers. The Chinese, Japanese got kamikaze. We ain't got nobody say, I die, I gonna blow up for it.
Yeah.
Not one. We ain't seen now nigga in the military do it yet. Yeah, all our soldiers was killed. Ain't none of them gave their life to go blow up something with the bombs on their back like theirs would do. So now, homie, homie, Trump just a big body white guy with an intimidating presence and a persona that intimidates. But when you talking to another world leader that take life, what you gonna say to him? You better got this man, and Putin know he Trump. Trump bluffing. Because you gotta understand, Trump was in bed with the Russians long before now. In the 80s. I got a lot of his money loaned through the Russians. That president in Russia got something on Trump. He got something on everybody. You know why? Because America let Russia come build a government building. And nigga, they wired that up to spy and get all the kind of information. They had to go back and redo that. It was too late. It's too late. Putin specializes in human behavior. So he done already met Trump. Trump was too friendly when he met him the first time. He was fascinated by the guy. He read body language. So he got two big dogs he keep with him to intimidate the people. Homie, so he a different kind of guy. Trump just got an army behind him that don't agree with going to war for him. His people don't have no choice. So now they got Russia up. See, they got America is cracking at the ankles. The Statue of Liberty is about to break.
Right.
It's 99 tons, sure. And nigga, ain't none of them following American culture anymore.
Yeah.
On Christmas, they stores is open. When we sitting down, our American holiday, all these foreign stores is open. And every day, they waking up getting an American dollar. They ain't trying to take no vacation. They ain't trying to find comfort. They'll live uncomfortable to have a legacy of money to pass down. They'll live in all one house uncomfortable. We won't. We ain't ready.
Well, guys, we all have been looking at this Venezuelan crisis from so many points of views. I want to offer up a different point of view from what everybody is bringing. I know we're talking about the petrodollar. I know we're talking about who's lying, whose ally is who, and who's buying oil from who, and all this, and the BRICS. But I'm telling you guys, there is a Bible prophecy component to this
Mm-hmm.
whole crisis. If you read several of the books that talk about the end times, you're going to see in the Apocrypha, not just Revelations, there's a book in the Apocrypha called Second Esdras. In Second Esdras, chapter 13, chapter 15, chapter 16 is
Yeah.
talking about these times that we live in right now. And there's a particular scripture where it talks about how things kick
Wow.
off in the Middle East and how weapons and missiles are flying all over the place. And then it also says, they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. Um, I've always wondered how uh,
Dang.
the turmoil and conflicts from the Middle East would eventually make its way to the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I always kept that passage, Second Esdras, chapter 13. Uh, it might even be
Yeah.
15, one of those two, but they talk about the same period but different details. Um,
Yeah.
Chapter 13 also talks about a people that were here uh, before people lived in the Western
Yeah.
Hemisphere. There was
Something
people
more.
here, and the land was called Arsareth, uh, the land where no mankind dwelt,
Man.
is what it was described as in Second Esdras chapter 13. Very interesting how
Yeah.
things have shifted to the Western Hemisphere. It's a very natural shift
It's
because
Bible
Russia,
prophecy.
being a superpower, could play tit for tat and say, hey, you meddle in Ukraine under my armpit, I meddle in
Yeah.
Venezuela under your armpit. Uh, Very natural consequences, but it seems like different people are.
Say Babylon is
Trump is
falling.
saying he's initiating this. Uh, Venezuela is saying bring it on. The BRICS have broken away. Um, there's so
Yes.
much to fight for right
Something
now.
bigger going
Frankly,
on.
if you're playing world geopolitic chess, there's so much to fight for because
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know why we fight so hard for oil.
Yeah,
There's
you're
so
right
much
about that.
oil in the ground. Um, Whoever has it, that's a resource for them. Um, we all need it. The
I didn't
new
know that.
wars that are under the surface uh, that push prophecy along are the mineral wars,
Mm.
where it's like, you need all this rare earth to make microchips.
Yeah.
Microchips power everything now. So a lot of the wars that were about oil uh,
It's too
have
bad.
been about rare earth minerals. Ukraine, Afghanistan, a lot of rare earth. Um, there are beings on the earth that are being
Our kingdom
hidden.
is next,
A
though.
lot of wars to make sure folks control those regions, whether they be giants or what you call
What
aliens.
interesting times
They
we
have to
live
be
in.
somewhere, and you have to have a strong army to protect those areas, resources. But Bible prophecy is going to move along.
Prophecy
And if you guys read
every
Revelation
day.
chapter 18, it talks about Babylon. It talks about Babylon also in Jeremiah chapter 51, in Isaiah
Mm-hmm.
chapter 13. It talks about, and chapter 14, it talks about the end of Babylon.
Yeah.
There's so many passages that you can put together to see exactly what's going on, no matter what the excuse on the surface that is
Mm-hmm.
put forth. Um, they may say war for oil or war for petrodollar, but
Mm.
there's a certain people, if you follow along with the prophetic
Mm.
narrative, there's a certain people who have been enslaved. There's a certain people who've been
Yeah.
made second class citizens. If you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, you talk about the two choices that God's people
Yeah.
had. They could go this way and be blessed, they could go this way. And these are the
Definitely gonna be
mishaps
some
that's going to happen to
response.
them. And it seems like the people who parallel those mishaps are the same people in the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 1 through 3, who are going to be liberated, taken back to their homeland. They're even going to be first class citizens in their homeland, and there are going to be second class citizens. So look out for the Bible prophecy aspect of this all.